This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
And welcome to the GSMC Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Jeff Malinoff, and with me is my good buddy, Mark Souza. We're going to be starting off with the Thursday Night Football destruction of the Giants, handed by the Eagles. We're also going to be talking about Week 6 matchups coming up in the next segment, and then after that, we're going to be talking about the worst 5 teams in the NBA. That's going to be fun. And then in segment 4 is basically anything else we want to talk about, such as like Usain Bolt and his Australian League first goal, as well as some other things in the playoffs and in the NBA. So we'll get right on that in a bit. But right now we're going to be talking about Thursday Night Football. And it was pretty much a destruction. It was a one-sided game throughout. The Philadelphia Eagles handily beating the Giants 34-13. It wasn't even that close to begin with. What were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, it was not close at all for most of the game early. The Giants were just playing from behind with by multiple touchdowns they were down by. So the Eagles get back on track. It seems like they go ahead and they rout the Giants in New York. It must have been a devastating night for Giants fans, as they are now looking at a terrible rest of the season. Sitting at 1-5 with no hope in sight. Saquon Barkley gave the fans some things to cheer about last night, but other than that, it's the same problem for them. They can't throw the ball. They can't protect Eli. Just not a good football team.
Yeah, this team is just all around just lacking on all sides of the ball. They didn't even show up. Like, you could tell there was something off. Too many not smart decisions by the Giants. In this game, the fans were getting really restless when it came to Eli throwing those check down passes, getting booed throughout the entire game, it felt like. And is Eli done to you?
Yeah, he's done. I think he was done probably 2 years ago. But being that he is one of the most successful quarterbacks in Giants history, it's hard for them to turn the page. And
that's saying something.
Yeah, it can be like that in sports, where you maybe you go a year or two late to say your goodbyes, just because an individual has meant so much to your franchise. And I think that Eli has been, with his 2 Super Bowl rings for the Giants, he's just been one of, if not the greatest quarterback in New York Giants history. So, it's hard to...
I would say Phil Simms is the best quarterback in Giants history.
It's an argument. I'm not sure. But regardless, Eli got them 2 rings. He had a good run with that franchise. And yeah, it's always hard to say goodbye. It's one of those things where, it's like a relationship that's gone sour, right? Like it's
and they don't know when to end it.
Stay together for the kids kind of thing, right? So they're staying together for the kids.
What if the kids want them to get divorced also?
They're staying together for the kids, but the kids are now going off to college.
Yeah, now it's time for them to call it a day.
Yeah, it's sad to see. I, for one, hope Eli just retires after this year. I wouldn't want to see him go to another team and struggle. Like, for me, that would be a sad thing. I think his legacy would get hurt by that, too.
If anyone, he's like probably go to Oakland or something, like where the AARP cards are there and 401ks are at the best.
Yeah, so you asked me if Eli is done. I will say absolutely.
And I am going to agree with you.
The Giants, they can run the ball. They use Barkley well.
Run the ball. Their offensive line is still not very good.
What I'm getting,
Saquon Barkley is the guy.
Well, what I'm getting at is they can still do things short yardage, but they cannot throw the ball down the field. Like, they can't. Eli can't hit receivers down the field. They're not on the same page. His arm strength isn't there anymore. His decision making isn't there anymore. It's just all bad for Eli. So it's not necessarily the entire Giants' problems for the last couple of years are not entirely his fault, and he does take a lot of the blame. And being a franchise quarterback, that's just what happens, right? Like, you take the wins, you take the losses, you get more credit than you deserve, you get more blame that you don't deserve. So it is what it is, and yeah, I think that it's time for the Giants to move on.
Yeah, I think Eli, I don't think has accepted that yet. It feels like. So
yeah, absolutely not.
That's the thing. It's like they're not going to let him go until Eli Manning's ready to go, and that's a problem. I think they should just say, you know what, it's best interest if we just release you, and for you personally, I think you should retire. That's how they should say it, or let me not say it, but like put it out that way. Like they shouldn't just hold on to Eli because because he's a Manning or because he's won 2 Super Bowls. It's time to move on.
It's time to move on, but when you don't address the quarterback position in the draft, I mean, it is what it is, right? Like you're stuck there. So
it's almost denial.
The Giants, we'll talk about Saquon Barkley here in a few minutes about how awesome his game was last night, how good he looks through 6 weeks of the NFL season. But the fact is, they had a chance to take a quarterback at number 2 in a quarterback-driven draft. They could have had Sam Darnold, who's now playing for the Jets. They could have had a couple of the other top quarterbacks drafted in the first round other than Baker Mayfield. They chose to go with Barkley. Who knows if it's the right decision? We'll see down the road.
And Barkley's a great player, no doubt about it. It's just, is this the right choice? Do you not go with your future instead of try to win right now? You know you can't win right now, but you try to get him to win right now, and that's not going to happen.
That will be an argument between Giants and Jets fans for the next 10 years.
Minimum. Who got the better pick, Darnold or Barkley?
Yeah, or like if Darnold turns out to be a great NFL quarterback.
I don't think the Jets trade up if they didn't think they were going to get Darnold. They were probably going to get a quarterback regardless.
Yeah, going into last year's draft, it was I think the most secure pick of that first 5 was the Giants taking Barkley. It seemed like that was just going to happen. It seemed like there was
talks of people trading to get Barkley to get that pick. The number 2 pick.
Right, but it seemed like the Giants were pretty upfront with who they were taking. They were taking the kid from New York. So, Barkley, though, incredible game last night. But before we move on to Barkley, what did the Giants do from here? Do they bench Eli? When? For who?
Benches.
They benched him last year. Remember all that drama that happened?
Well, that was Ben McAdoo just not knowing how to coach his football team.
Okay, so if the Giants continue to lose games, when do they bench Eli? Because they're not going to go 17
when do they
weeks
bench
without him.
Eli? Find who's their backup?
Alex Tanney and Kyle Lauletta. Kyle Lauletta, they drafted in the 4th round this year. He's a rookie.
Like that segue to get you on that?
He played college ball at Richmond. So who knows?
The Richmond Spiders.
The Richmond Spiders, yes.
I like that name, by the way. I like a team just like they have a cool helmet. But anyways, I'm getting off topic.
So he has not even suited up for them this year. He's been inactive for the last 6 weeks.
It sounds like they don't have anyone that could back up Eli at the moment. They just have kind of scrubs.
Yeah, so their actual backup as of today is Alex Tanney. Have you heard that name before?
Is he an undrafted guy?
Alex Tanney.
Is he a rookie this year?
He is not a rookie.
Oh, no. Wow. I'm sorry.
He was drafted in 2012. Actually, he was not drafted in 2012 as he was an undrafted
free agent. Yeah, that's what. Out of what school?
Monmouth.
Where is that?
He has played in one NFL game. He's 30 years old. He's 10 for 14
Huh.
for a touchdown and no interceptions, 99 passing yards. That's his whole career. That's the person who's backing up Eli
Just put him in
Manning.
the Hall of Fame right now, right?
Hey, a 114 quarterback rating? I think so.
Okay. Let's take a chill pill on that. 114 at 99 yards.
So he's a backup. So not only did
He's not
the
even a backup. He sounds like a practice squad player.
so not only did the Giants not draft a quarterback in the first round, but they didn't draft one until round 4, and it's a guy who's been inactive
They
for
don't
the
have
first 5 weeks.
anyone. So you have to play Eli because you don't have anyone else.
Yeah, but at some point they're just gonna have to play their 4th round draft pick, right? You got to see what you got in them.
Yeah, true, but I maybe like week 10 when you know you're out of the playoffs.
Week 10, did you say?
Well, once they're eliminated from playoff contention, then start them.
They're darn near eliminated from playoff contention,
It's
but
only
you're right.
5 weeks.
Crazier things have happened. I'll give you that. But there's no way they're making the playoffs, right?
If they make the playoffs,
What will you do?
I'm trying to think of something crazy I'll do. You can run me over with your car.
Run you over with my car. Hard pass. Hard pass.
Okay. Okay. I was just trying to think of something ridiculous. I will run around the street yelling. I don't know. I can't think of anything ridiculous at the moment.
So which week will Eli get benched?
I'm saying week 7.
So next week?
Oh, right. It's week 6. Okay, week 9.
Week 9. Interesting
I didn't
game.
realize how far we are in the football season.
So that would mean that somebody else for the Giants would be suiting up at quarterback when they face off the San Francisco 49ers in Santa Clara, California.
Hey, that's going to be the 149er win. I think they're going to be another favorite in that one.
So the Giants' next 2 games are the Falcons and the Redskins before they face the 49ers and the Buccaneers. So if they lose the next 2 games, which is probably going to happen,
They're going to bench
they
him
will
after
be
that.
sitting at 1-7.
Yeah, they're going to bench him after that. And I don't think they're going to win 8 straight and win a playoff spot.
Do you think that they are wary of benching him now because of the debacle that happened last year? Like they don't want to ruffle feathers again? I don't know.
It doesn't matter Does it really matter anymore?
All right, so Eli, yes, he's done. Let's talk about Saquon Barkley real quick before we talk about the Eagles. How insane is this kid from Penn State?
Probably he's the future of running backs. That's for sure.
The kid can do it all.
He could be the number one running back in the league in the future.
Yeah, I would say right now he's probably in the top 6 or 7, right?
Oh yeah, it has to be.
He can run the ball, catch
I'll
the
put
ball.
him in the top 5.
What do you have? 100 yards, 99 yards receiving, and 130 rushing last night on 13 carries and 9 receptions. That's insane. He had 22. He touched the ball 22 times and he had 200 yards.
Let's agree that he carried the offense.
Yeah, he definitely did. So, Giants. If you're a Giants fan, are you happy that they took Saquon Barkley, or are you mad that they didn't take a quarterback?
I love Barkley, but that's not who they needed. They needed a quarterback. They needed elite. I love Barkley.
So you should have taken. So if you were them, you would have taken Darnold probably over Saquon.
Any of the other available. There were so many good quarterbacks available. You couldn't.
Rosen, Josh Allen.
Yeah. Look at Josh. Josh Allen's been playing relatively well with a bad team.
Yeah.
For what he has on the table, he doesn't have many other offensive weapons. Sean McCoy's is one weapon, and he's getting up there in age.
There was a couple of runs last night where Saquon Barkley they were all-timer highlights. They were plays that would be on some running backs who have had 15-year careers would be on their highlight reels, and he made them in one game.
Yeah. He
jumped over defenders.
He jumped over multiple defenders in one play.
Dudes are bouncing off of his thighs. They just could not get him down.
He has some huge thighs.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's weird to say or not, but the man's huge.
And then when he gets by the last defender, see you later. That thing is over. He's not getting caught.
Yeah, definitely.
That long TD run he had last night, insane. So Let's talk about Philadelphia Eagles now that we've just dismantled the Giants for 15 minutes. How did they look last night, and do you think that this win gets them back on track for the rest of their season? They're now 3-3.
This is definitely a
get-right game?
This is a statement game, that's for sure.
What was that statement, Jeff?
That this team is still the king of the NFC East, and they can still make that spot into this and make their presence known in the playoffs and get a chance to go back to the Super Bowl.
I think anytime you win on a Thursday night, it's impressive for me because of the weird schedule, the weird week,
but
short
that
week.
handily was very impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. Absolutely. So the Eagles will now play the Panthers, the Jaguars, the Cowboys, and the Saints in their next four.
They could win 3 of those games at least.
It'll be interesting. It's a tough schedule, but
No doubt about it.
It's a tough schedule, but they're looking like they can move the ball on offense. Their defense looked better last night, albeit against a offense who kind of has issues of their own. But the Eagles did perform defensively. They also were not terrible defensively against the Vikings either. So the Eagles, they
do you see them winning the NFC East?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I'd bet on that every day. The Eagles, though, they played their first game last night without Jay Ajayi. The talk leading up to yesterday had been the rumors surrounding LaShawn McCoy possibly being in trade talks to the Eagles. Do the Eagles need McCoy, or do you think they're fine with Smallwood and Clement?
Well, they did really well with Smallwood and Clement. Let's wait till they play a good team and go from there.
So I'll read you their stats last night. Wendell Smallwood had 18 carries for 51 yards. That's a 2.8 average, and Clement had 11 carries for 43 yards and a touchdown of 3.9 average. Clement chipped in 3 catches, 26 yards, and Smallwood had a catch for no yards. So based on the numbers, I would say they still need a running back, but
well, they got it done last
night. Did they really get it done, or was it more about the passing game?
They scored 34 points.
Yeah, I get it, but I mean it was pass heavy, right? Alshon
Jeffrey, but there was some rushing touchdowns.
They had 1, yes. Jeffrey had 2 catches, 2 receiving touchdowns, and Ertz had a receiving touchdown. Aguilar also had 91 yards. I think they did it more through the air. They only had 100 yards rushing yesterday on 31 carries, so they were under 3.5 yards a carry. But what do you think? Do you think that they should make the move for McCoy after last night, or do you think
Is McCoy worth the trade they would get for him? What they would give up for him?
I think Sean McCoy still has something left in the tank.
But how much?
A 4th-round pick worth.
Okay, that seems fair. Anything else about this game, Thursday Night Football?
No, I think that's it. We talked about the Eagles routing the Giants. We talked about Eli being quote-unquote done. One last thing. OBJ, his antics on the sideline. Is he over the top? Is he a diva? Are we?
No, he's a diva.
What's your thoughts about him? Is his actions, his attitude conducive to winning, or is it a detriment to the team at this point?
I think it could also just be him trying to get attention.
Yeah, he's certainly not getting the ball down the field. It's frustrating, but at this point, it's just getting kind of old with him, right?
Yeah, it's like been here, done that type of thing. It's the same old story. I'm kind of tired about talking about his antics. Like, if he's really affecting the team, other players should step up and say it. So we'll see how that goes.
Cool. We'll talk about the rest of the week 6 matchups after this.
Yeah.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
And welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We just finished talking about the Thursday night football matchup between the Giants and the Eagles. Now we're going to move on to other games on the Week 6 matchup.
Like Call of Duty?
What?
Like other games, like Call of Duty?
Yes, that's coming out today.
Are you excited about it?
I am very excited about it. What does that have to do with sports?
Well, you said let's talk about other games coming up this weekend.
Oh, my God. You don't...
Are you going to watch any football this weekend, Jeff, or are you going to be playing...
I'm going to be doing both.
Yeah, there you go.
I got
two TVs, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
man,
yeah.
nice.
Got
Look
a
at
small,
this
I
guy.
got a small gaming TV, and I got a huge... Or not a huge TV, but I got another TV I can watch my football on.
Look at this. Look at this. That's awesome,
I
man.
got the man cave set up.
I love Fridays. Sorry
Aren't they
to get
great?
off topic.
I know, but Fridays are awesome. we don't have to get up at 4 in the morning.
Oh, weekends of video games and football and sports.
It's the most guy thing ever.
Oh, and beers.
I don't drink, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll drink sodas. Anyways, let's
Let's
go
talk about the games.
Yeah. Okay, first game. What do you want to talk about first?
I'll go down the list. We'll talk about each game real quickly. We'll give our quick picks. Give me a score on whoever you pick. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Buccaneers. They're going to travel to Atlanta. So this is Jameis Winston's first start. He's going against the Falcons, who are 1-4. Both teams could really use a win here. What do you see in this game? Who do you got taking it?
I can see the Falcons taking this. They've only lost games by a few points, and it's like they've not got shut out or anything. They've scored a lot of points over these games, and I think how badly the Buccaneers have been playing since their Fitzmagic had ended. I think this is going to go to Atlanta.
Give me the score, Jeff. Throw one out there for me.
30? No. 28-20.
28-20. All right. Yeah, I also think the Falcons are going to win this game. They're at home. They need a win. Absolutely. I do expect the Bucs to be able to put up some points, as the Falcons defense has proven to not be very good, considering the injury issues that they've had this season. Give me the Falcons, but I will say 38-28.
Wow, high scoring.
Yeah. Let's move on to Steelers-Bengals. This is a big matchup. This is the one that was this the one that was flexed out? No, that's next week. Steelers-Bengals. Jeff, the Bengals are 4-1. They're at home.
Mm-hmm.
They welcome a 2-1 Pittsburgh Steelers, led by Ben Roethlisberger, coming off a big win. What do you see?
This is a tough one. I want to give your take on it first. I always go first. You go first this time.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good. I think that this game will be another high-scoring game because
Really?
I don't like the defenses in this game too much to stop the opposing offenses. There's a lot of offensive talent on the field in this game. Antonio Brown, Juju, Connor.
But they haven't really
They had a big game last game, though.
Well, they haven't really finished. They don't finish strong, in my opinion.
And then on the other side of the field, you got A.J. Green, Joe Mixon, who I think is a very good player.
He's coming back into it. He had 93 yards last week. Maybe he'll gain more, but yeah.
Cincinnati's at home. I think you might be surprised here.
Surprising 4-1, by the way.
I think you might be surprised here, and I'm surprised that I'm going to say this too, but I'm taking the Bengals to win. I don't know why.
I'm taking the Bengals also.
I immediately almost regret it right after saying it, But give me the Bengals 31-27 for Cincinnati. What do you think?
31-27. Okay. Give me 24. Give me 24-14.
24-14 for Jeff's Cincinnati Bengals. All right. How about the game of the week, Jeff? You ready for it?
Yeah.
The Chargers at Cleveland. You weren't
Why
expecting
is this
that.
the game of the week?
You want to know why this is the game of the week, Jeff?
Yes.
Because Cleveland is favored in a game.
They've been favored a couple of games already this
Have they?
Yeah.
Well, they're favored against the 3-2, not San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers.
Put a little. So pick those missed field goals, put them in as good, and they're like 4-1 at least.
Agreed. So what do you think will happen in this game where the Browns are at home against the Chargers?
I take the Browns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why
Yeah?
not? Yeah.
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 All right. Browns. Give me the score. What do you see? What's in your
13-10.
magic ball
13-10.
here? You're 13-10?
It's a defensive matchup, so 13-10.
Not too many happy fantasy football players in that game, huh?
Except for the defense.
I am going to say the San Diego Chargers go on the road and get a win.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's not like a bad choice. I mean, it's still Chargers are still a team.
They're still a team. They are.
They're still a team in the NFL.
They moved, but they're still a team.
I meant a solid defensive team.
Oh, okay. So, I like this game. This game is very interesting. If the Browns win, they'll go to 3-2-1. They'll have beaten the Chargers. That would be a good win for them, home or not. But I think the Chargers will win. I like Phillip Rivers to protect the football here, to make some plays. I do think there will be some points scored. I'll say 27-24 Chargers.
27-24. Wow, you think there's going to be a lot of scoring in this game.
How about we go across the pond? Are you ready?
Sure.
The Seattle Seahawks, who are technically the away team, will be facing the Oakland Raiders, who are technically the home team, in London, England.
Oh, it's a London game, you
Yeah.
said.
John Gruden was not excited about it, as he was asked this week about his plans for this trip. He said he's not a good traveler. He's not a good flyer. He's not looking forward to it.
He travels to different... That's your job as a team is to travel to different cities.
Have you flown to Europe from the West Coast?
I've never been to Europe. I've never been to Europe.
Have you ever flown to the East Coast?
Yes. That's like 6.5 hours.
It's probably a little less, but yeah, you're right. But going to Europe is like 9-10 hours, so...
Yeah, I don't think I can stay in a plane that long.
So you're John Gruden.
He's in a private plane, first of all.
I mean...
I had to sit in like an aisle seat with a big dude next to me that loves to sleep with like on the left side drooling, so... I've been there before, so that's why I bring it up.
So what do you see in this game? The Seahawks are 2-3. The Raiders are 1-4. Obviously, a loss here by either team really sets back their season. I think the Raiders, if they go to 1-5, it's pretty much over for them in terms of playoffs or even thinking about that. Seattle, they're in a little bit weaker of a division, but still, they don't want to go 2-4 in the tough NFC. Who do you got, Jeff?
Between the
Seahawks and the Raiders.
Well, didn't even let me finish my sentence.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Seahawks and the Raiders. I'm going to go Raiders.
Jeff is taking John Gruden because they have the same issues with flying long distances.
His difference between me and him is he gets a private plane.
Raiders.
There's couches in there,
Give me the score.
and park loungers. Anyways, it's a London game, so I'm not expecting anything interesting. So I'll go 12-15.
Okay, you have to give me the winning score first from now on.
Okay,
you have
fine.
to do it.
It's fun to mess with you, but okay.
Raiders 15-12. I have Seattle winning. I say a score of 24-21.
It's been fun to mess with you, but I'll stop.
How about we go to the next game on the slate? The Chicago Bears, who are in first in the NFC North, they play the Miami Dolphins 3-2. So the 3-1 Bears, coming off a bye week, they head down south to Miami.
Mack, Bears win this game 14-0.
Come on, man, 14-0.
What offensive weapons do the Dolphins have that can stop that defense?
Kenny Stills.
No, seriously.
You said 14-0 Bears.
Yes.
Wow.
The Bears' offense is still a lot to be desired. I know Trubinsky had like 6 touchdowns the last 2 weeks ago, but I don't see that happening now.
I got the Dolphins winning this game.
Really?
Is that weird?
Yes. What is it, 3-0? 2-0?
Miami will win.
You know what? Hold on. Change mine. 14-3.
14-3.
You give them at least 3 points.
I got Miami 20-17.
Okay.
Arizona against Minnesota. 1-4 Arizona. 2-2-1.
It kind of rhymes.
Minnesota's a 10-point favorite at home. I think I've seen this before. Minnesota's a big favorite at home against a team that's not very good.
And you get destroyed.
So, with
I
that
don't
being
think
said,
it's the same way.
not this time, Jeff. Minnesota has figured this one out.
Minnesota takes this 24-10.
24-10 for Mr. Jeff. I got Minnesota 2. Give me 30-13.
Fine. Here's your 30-13. Take it.
Colts, Jets. Jets are home. 2-3 against Indianapolis. 1-4.
Okay.
Andrew Luck. It looks like he will be without T.Y. Hilton again.
That's a problem. Colts
So
lose because of that.
what do you see the score?
Colts lose this one. Let's say 35-17.
So you got Jets 35-17.
Yes, I do.
I too like the Jets.
Well, because Sam Darnold likes to, like, when he goes off, he goes off. Like, he did that with the Lions. He could easily do that against the Colts.
I got Jets 27-20. I think they'll win. I think they'll cover the 2.5 points. How about Redskins Panthers? This is an interesting game as Washington hosts, coming off that terrible loss of Monday Night Football against Drew Brees.
I got the Panthers.
Panthers. So the Panthers are on the road, but you think they'll go into Washington. You think they'll get a win, and you think the score will be
21-10.
21-10.
I've been using 10 a lot, haven't I?
Which player do you think will have a big game for Carolina?
Cam Newton.
All right, Panthers 21-10.
And he'll give it to Christian McCaffrey a lot.
I too have the Panthers. I think there will be a little bit more points in this game than you, but still pretty similar. I'll say 27-17 for Carolina and Cam Newton. How about Bills and Texans? Buffalo. Hey, they're all of a sudden 2-3.
That's weird.
Houston's also 2-3, but it feels very different. Houston's at home. Deshaun Watson. He'll look to get back on track here as he looks for another win after coming off that win against the Dallas Cowboys. Buffalo, they come in with Josh Allen. They're looking for another win here. They've had two pretty awesome wins if you think about it. I don't know how they pulled them off, but do you think the Bills will get another win here?
The Bills getting another win?
Bills
I
at
say
Houston.
nay.
So you got the Texans. Give me a score.
I say 17-14. Last second field goal.
I got Texans 20-10. How about Rams Broncos?
Rams take this one 38-20.
38-20.
Yes, the Rams are unstoppable.
Even though it's at Denver, you're pretty confident?
Denver's not in the level of the Rams.
Yeah. I think we'll see a game that's 41-24
Also,
Rams.
you're around the same amount of score I am.
Yeah, I like the Rams too. I think we both. They're only favored by 7, which is interesting to me.
I think because it's in Denver and it's mile high and it's high altitude, and that could cause an effect on the players, which is understandable.
You might be right. Jacksonville Jaguars and Blake Bortles, they travel to Jerry's World, and they play the Cowboys in Dallas. Cowboys are at 2-3.
Please never use that word again. Never call 18 Stadium Jerry's World. I hate that.
Jacksonville's 3-2. Dallas is 2-3. This is an interesting game here. Both defenses are pretty good. Obviously, Jacksonville's defense needs no introduction, but it could be a tough game for both quarterbacks as the pass rushes on both sides of the ball can really create havoc. So, with that being said, who do you like and what the score will be?
This girl named... Oh, you mean the game. This one might be closer than most people think. What do you think?
I'm taking Jacksonville going on the road and winning this game. I think they are favored by 3. I think that's right. I'll say that they win.
People think it's going to be a little more lopsided than that.
I think 2017 is what I'm going with, Jacksonville.
So you're going to go with the 3-point. Okay. You know what? I'll go. I'll go 21-14
for Jacksonville.
Yeah.
All right. With 2 games left, Ravens and Titans.
Going Titans on this one.
Titans at home. They've had a weird schedule. They've won games that they probably shouldn't. They've lost games they probably shouldn't. You got Tennessee?
Tennessee wins this game 24-21.
24-21 for Tennessee.
Yes.
I got the Ravens winning this game by the score of. You said Titans. What was the score? 24.
Yes.
To what?
21.
24-21. I got Ravens 24-21. So identical score.
Good for you.
All right, last game of the day, night game. The Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and that hot offense go into Foxborough Stadium. Face Tom Brady.
It's actually Gillette Stadium. It's in Foxborough.
Sorry. They go to Foxborough. Thank you
There
for
you go.
correcting me.
You're welcome.
They go to Foxborough Gillette Stadium. Beautiful stadium, by the way. Tell me what you see. Give me a team and a score, Jeff.
Team and a score.
Who's winning?
Kansas City is going to win this, go 6-0, and then drop like a light after this game. But I'm saying this is their final win into a losing streak. That's my guess. But they are going to win this game 31-24.
31-24.
Yes.
Do you think that I'm betting against Tom Brady at home? I don't care if it's an Andy Reid offense.
No.
I don't care if it's Patrick Mahomes. I got the Patriots winning this game.
Good for you.
34-31.
Good for you.
That will conclude our picks for week 6. When we return,
Ooh, that rhymed.
When we return, we'll give you the bottom 5 teams in the NBA, the 5 teams that you can expect to finish with the worst record this season.
Ooh, it's going to be fun. We will see you there.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
And welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We talked about the Thursday Night Football matchup that happened between the Eagles and Giants. That was a rout. We also have talked about the Week 6 matchups in the NFL and our predictions of the scores will be. Now we're going to talk about our 5 worst teams in the NBA at the moment. We're going to go from 5 to 1 because that's more fun. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
I can go first.
Go first.
My 5th worst team in the NBA. Barely making the top 5, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The Orlando Magic.
Oh, wow, you have them that high. Good for them.
That high, huh? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mo Bamba. I know he's their newest addition, but I'm not sure that this team really has found an identity yet. I did like the Jonathan Isaac pick. He's still finding himself. It could be a troubling year for the Magic if a couple of these young guys don't pan out, but I don't know. I'm not big on their roster. I don't see them really doing much in a Eastern Conference. That's definitely the door's open in the East. A team like the Magic, they could be a decent team and make the playoffs, but for me, I think they're just a year or two away.
Okay.
Who do you got?
My 5 is the Brooklyn Nets.
The Brooklyn Nets.
For obvious reasons. They're going nowhere fast. There's no like star on the roster. There's no like major player. I mean, D'Angelo Russell has just been kind of dull with them in that trade for Brook Lopez, but the ownership of the Nets has been terrible for years now, and it's not looking like it's going anywhere soon fast.
Yeah, they're still recovering from that trade that they made with Boston, where they gave up all those picks.
That was really hurt King and his fault.
It really hurt their last few years. It continues to affect them, and it will affect them for a couple more years. It's one of those trades where it's hard to just move forward when you're hamstrung.
Billy King may be the worst NBA GM of all time.
That's it's possible. So
he traded multiple first-round picks for Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Jason Terry, who are all in their late 30s.
Yeah, not smart. Not a good investment. So, number 4 in the bottom 5 teams in the NBA for the 2018 season, I have the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay. I see what you do there. Okay.
I really liked their move to go get Luka Doncic. I thought it was an aggressive move, but I thought it was the right move. However, the rest of that roster, beyond DeAndre Jordan, I'm just not sure. Dennis Smith Jr. played really well last year. At least he was interesting. He had a decent season. I like him. I like Doncic. I like DeAndre Jordan. But in the tough
You know what? They
West,
like you also.
In the tough West, I still think that better days are ahead for them. But this year, they will not be one of the better teams in the West. And I think they'll be the second worst team in the Western Conference. There's a little preview. But, who's your number 4?
My number 4 is the Orlando Magic.
The Magic, all right.
Like you said, everything you said was good. This team has no direction. Aaron Gordon's probably their best player, and he's average at best. And this team is just they're going nowhere fast. There's no direction. There's no plan ahead. There's no good draft picks. There's no good trades. There's no good free agent signings. This team has literally nothing.
Yeah, we'll see what they do from here on out. Again, it's kind of up to Mo Bamba and Jonathan Isaac. One of those two guys has to step up for the Magic if they're going to be better than one of the worst 5 teams in the league.
They won't.
You want to know who my number 3 is?
Can I guess?
Go ahead.
Memphis.
It is not.
Atlanta?
It is your Sacramento Kings.
What? Oh, why are you saying your?
Oh, Northern California and all that.
Oh, yeah, we hear that a lot every year. That's a commercial that's been around.
Yeah, those lovable Kings and those great fans will have to suffer through another season of poor management, of poor leadership. They have a lot of young players. I expect them to play them. I expect them to let them take their lumps as they lose night in and night out to more established teams in the Western Conference. They will be baptized by some of the very good teams in the Western Conference. They could actually be higher on this list in terms of worse on this list, but I will give them the 3rd worst spot there, the 3rd from the bottom.
Well, my 3rd spot is what I said before, and that is the Memphis Grizzlies.
Memphis, okay.
Do you know anything about this team? Name one player on that team.
Mike Conley.
Okay. Besides the good player.
Were you about to cuss right there?
No.
Fudge. They have other good players.
Yeah, but what
Marc Gasol.
Yeah, but he's getting up there in age.
Jaren Jackson Jr. was their draft pick. I'm big on him, but I understand. So the Grizzlies, they're not very good.
They played horrible last season. They haven't.
Conley was hurt too, though.
Yeah, but again, they don't do anything in the offseason. They don't make any noise trading-wise. They made a draft pick that was an obvious choice. This team just doesn't seem like it has what it takes to be a good team, especially in the toughest conference, the Western Conference. This team is going to be at the bottom of the barrel yet again this season.
You make a good argument. I'm a little bit higher on them than you, but they're no doubt about it not a playoff team in the West, in my opinion. So I do not have Memphis in my top 5.
Okay, who's your number 2?
Chicago Bulls.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people are high on the Bulls. I am not. I don't believe that they have any franchise-type players on their team. I do like Lauri Markkanen. I do think that Zach LaVine is a decent player, especially like off the bench. But I'm not keen on the Jabari Parker move. I don't know how the ball's going to move when those two guys are on the floor, the LaVine and Jabari Parker. Yeah, so I don't know. I just see that they're another team that better days could be coming for them, but this year it's going to be a tough struggle for them. I wouldn't even be surprised if they finish as the worst team in the NBA, to be honest with you. It just depends on some of their players and their health coming back from injuries.
True. And my number 2 is the Atlanta Hawks. I said they were going to get an 8 seed upset, like I said my bold prediction. Seeing them play, I have changed my mind. Oh my goodness, are they terrible. Trae Young is their only hope.
Wait a minute.
What?
So you had them as your 8th seed
Remember
a week
we talked
ago?
About this.
A week ago?
And watching
and
them
now
play
they're the
week.
worst. Now they're the second worst team in the NBA.
Have you watched them play?
That's a fall of like 10 spots, though.
I know, but that's how bad I've seen them play. Like Trae Young's, buzzer beater. That's great. Did you see him play the other 3.5 quarters? Huh?
Next step.
Okay, you gotta stop putting too much pressure on the kid. But
I think they call him Trey Curry.
There is no one around him. Nobody. It's basically Trae Young shooting the ball. And that's it. No defense, no rebounding, no centers, no forwards, nothing. They have nothing.
Yeah, they're a team that's definitely lacking talent.
I thought they would bounce back or something like that because
the way that you're talking, you make it sound like they should be your number 1 worst team in the NBA.
Yeah, you'll be surprised who my number 1 team is.
Oh, it's going to be the Kings.
Mine. Spoiler alert! It is.
Mine is. The Atlanta Hawks. They are my worst team.
Oh, are they? Nice.
Yes. So they're your number 2. They're my number 1.
We basically are agreeing on this.
You said it. They don't have a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Their biggest departure was Dennis Schroeder, and he's okay. They don't have anyone left except for Trae Young. He'll chuck it a million times this year, I think. I think he's actually going to develop into a nice player because he's going to get a lot of shooting practice as the ball will be passed to him after the offense can't find an open shot. They'll kick it back out to him, and they'll let him go one-on-one, and he'll chuck up threes all season long. Some of them will go in, most of them will not. And the Atlanta Hawks will be the worst team in the NBA this year.
And now we know who my number 1 is, the Sacramento Kings. They are just putrid.
But Jeff, they have
putrid.
all these young players on the team, like Harry Giles and Marvin Bagley III.
I'm excited to see what Harry Giles does. They might be an exciting team, but they won't win a game.
How do you feel about De'Aaron Fox?
He's an average player at best, in my opinion.
Whew.
This team is just all around.
You are not getting hired on the PR department for the Kings.
No, of course. This team is just bad. There's
or the Hawks.
Over the Hawks. There's the front office is the worst. They're the Browns of the NBA. They have the horrible front office. They don't do anything for their team for the future. Except these draft picks are not the future. They just pick them because they have to pick a player, and they waste.
They are required by law to pick a player. And
they do bust after bust after bust after bust after bust after bust after bust. This team does not know how to run an organization, how to make a good basketball team. Vlade Divac is way over in his head. Vivek Ranadive is the worst owner in the league, and this is just a horrible, horrible organization that honestly should leave Sacramento and just die out. Just
at
not become
Jeff
a team.
Melanoff on Twitter, Jeff Melanoff.
Let's just have 29 teams in the NBA, and just Sacramento just goes home.
Those fans are so good, and they deserve.
Oh, they're loyal.
So
my
much
gosh.
more.
Kings fans are the most loyal fans. That's why I'm saying they're the Browns of the NBA because they're so loyal, but they get nothing in return because their front office is the worst I've ever seen in the NBA's history.
Worse than the Hawks?
Way worse than the Hawks.
Woo!
They've traded DeMarcus Cousins, the best center in the league, for nothing. For almost nothing. A protected first-round pick, 1 first-round pick, and Buddy Hield, who hasn't really proven himself in the NBA at all, and this team thinks it can win
Jeff
games.
Melanoff on Twitter.
Yeah. If you disagree with me on this, you're in denial. I'm sorry.
I have them
But
as my third worst
team.
I have them
in the
as my
NBA.
worst team in the Western Conference. I only put them higher because I do think that they'll try to win games because they don't have a first-round pick. So they won't be in tank mode. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I only put the Hawks and the Bulls in front of them for a better chance at landing the number 1 pick because I do think that they'll be in full tank mode by the time we get to March. Maybe
Okay.
even earlier.
But they've been in tank mode for 10 years.
I want to end this segment here before we go to a break. But yes, we will end it here. And when we come back, we will wrap up today's latest in sports. We'll talk about the MLB playoffs. We'll talk about Usain Bolt playing soccer. We'll talk about the Sacramento Kings again, but this time because of something they did on Twitter, which is entertaining. And we'll talk about Thibodeau and Riley and an interesting phone call that they had coming at you right after this.
Okay, I'm out. I'm better now.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
Okay, after a call with my therapist, we are back. And we've had to talk about the Thursday night football matchup between the Eagles. Nice Bad Boys 2 reference. Between the Eagles and Giants. We've talked about the Week 6 matchups in the NFL. We talked about our worst teams in the NBA. Now we're going to go into any other topics in the sports world that we want to talk about. I think first things first, we should talk about that the fastest man alive, Usain Bolt, has scored a goal for his Australian League soccer team. His first goal.
Yes, Usain Bolt, he is trying to make a career in soccer as he transitions from running past everybody without a ball. He's now trying to run past everybody with the ball. So he has signed with a team in the Australian Soccer League called the Central Coast Mariners. He scored 2 goals yesterday in a preseason friendly match against a team, MacArthur Southwest. He was playing forward, and he scored twice in the second half. So Usain Bolt, who is now trying to play soccer. Jeff, do you think that this is something? Do you think you could see him, I don't know, making a somewhat of a career out of this?
Maybe. I don't know. It's a very cool moment for him, obviously, but it wasn't like it was a spectacular goal. It was kind of...
He ran past everybody and scored.
Yeah.
Did you see him do his little celebration, though?
Well, what else is he supposed to do? That's his signature.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a business decision. That's a smart business decision.
It does sound like he did miss some chances in the game, that he wasn't the most efficient player. So maybe they were just playing a team that was not as talented as they were. But we will see how his soccer career progresses. He actually almost signed to play in the United States, the United Soccer League here in the United States, which is the tier below the MLS for Las Vegas. But ultimately, he signed with the Central Coast Mariners in the Australian League. So, MLB playoffs start tonight.
Yay!
What can we expect from Game 1? Dodgers, they will play against the Brewers.
We will see players throwing a ball into a catcher's mitt while a guy has a wooden stick and tries to hit it.
Ooh, question for you,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah.
So we knew that Kershaw would be the game 1 starter. Do we know who will start for the Brewers?
Have they officially named a starter?
They have.
Yay! Who are they have?
Gio Gonzalez, lefty. I like it.
I like. Oh, so lefty versus lefty.
Yeah,
Ooh.
lefty. Yeah, absolutely. So what do you think?
Lefties.
Do you think the Dodgers or the Brewers will get game 1 at Miller Park tonight?
It all seems how Kershaw does. If he goes into regular season form, then I say the Dodgers. But if he goes into postseason form, I'm going to say the Brewers.
So which one are you going to say?
The Brewers.
All right. Yep.
I said they win in 5. They're going to take the first game.
Ooh. I have a question for you.
Ooh. What is it?
Game 2 is tomorrow at Miller Park as well, and they have named the starters. Would you like to know who they are?
Well, certainly.
Ryu is pitching for LA.
Ryu from Street Fighter?
Yeah.
Cool.
Ryu against Wade Miley.
What?
Ryu against Wade Miley. Another lefty versus lefty matchup.
All right, so they're going to be used to lefties, and then you're going to mix them up with a righty for Game 3.
We will see. I don't think they've released that probable yet, but
that's my guess, at least.
what do you like in that matchup? Do you like the Brewers or the Dodgers? Ryu versus Miley.
Well, I like Street Fighter.
So you're going Dodgers. Cool. So Astros, Red Sox will...
He probably gets that a lot, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. Astros, Red Sox, they start their ALCS tomorrow night on TBS as they will play Saturday and Sunday. Do you have a favorite in this game? Verlander versus Sale. Boom.
I got Sale.
It's a big matchup. It's a heavyweight matchup.
Sale is just the ace right now.
So what about Sunday? Garrett Cole, David Price.
I got Cole.
Me too. You think they'll get a split? I think we'll see a 1-1 split after 2. Does that sound right?
That's what we just said, yes.
Oh, wow. Rare. Yeah, so Game 3, though, you were talking about Game 3 for Milwaukee and the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. Chassin is pitching against Buehler.
So I was right.
Buehler.
Yeah, Buehler.
Yeah.
We kind of he's like...
So the righties will go in Game 3.
So I was right. Righty versus righty in Game 3. And, yeah, you're right, Buehler.
You've never been right, so congrats.
That is I graduated college. I mean, I had to get something right.
You just have to show up to do that.
That's not true at all. You're a liar.
Been there.
Did you graduate college?
Yeah, I did.
Good.
And I just showed up.
Yeah, well, I had to get a degree.
Yeah, so did I. Anyways, how about...
At least I tried.
Let's talk about something you want to talk about. Kings Twitter. So last night preseason, what's the scoop there, Jeff?
Well, it's funny. I was on my Twitter just looking at some stuff, and I saw the NBA post something about the Kings, and I was like, oh, what? That's unusual. Let's check it out. And what I saw was the Kings showed highlights of the game they were against the Utah Jazz last night. They were getting beaten so badly, when they showed the highlights of the game, they censored the score.
Ouch.
That's how bad they were doing. They censored a score on Twitter.
Man, that's
that's the highlights of the Kings season.
Is that a thing?
The highlight of the Kings season is their Twitter account. Their Twitter account's always entertaining. If you want to follow a team, follow them. They're actually very entertaining to watch and listen to.
What about you wanted to talk about something else too? I think you were talking about Thibodeau and Riley.
Oh, right. So Pat Riley's talking to Thibodeau. They're talking about
they're talking
about the trade for Jimmy Butler. Yeah, they're talking on the phone about the trade for Jimmy Butler. And Thibodeau asked for something so outrageous. Pat Riley, before hanging up on Thibodeau, calls him the MF-er. Yeah,
so Thibodeau tried to ask for more in the trade at the end of the conversation.
Which is kind of scumbaggy like.
Yeah. So that's just what's been reported. We don't know that for sure, but
reportedly he called him a bad word and hung up on him.
It is interesting.
Which I don't think has ever happened in the history of two general managers or owners or whatever talking to each other.
Yeah, maybe not. So to sign off for today, Jeff, what should we look for this weekend in sports?
Action. action.
Excitement. Give me something in particular that you think will happen that we should watch.
One team will beat another team in a sports matchup. How's that?
Do it again.
One team will beat another team in a sports event.
A game that we should watch this weekend.
Oh. Definitely the having a stroke. Okay, it says
Patriots Chiefs. That's what I'm going with.
I knew you were going with something. I'm like, any game, watch all the games. Get the NFL Red Zone channel. Watch all the games. Get all the touchdowns. And it's going to be a fun game. It's a fun weekend.
So tomorrow night, here's something interesting I just thought about. No, Sunday night. Excuse me. Sunday night, you could go to a Red Sox, ALCS, and a Patriots Chiefs game.
How expensive would that be?
And the distance between Foxborough and downtown Boston is like 45 minutes minimum.
So you can't go to both games in their entirety.
Probably not. I don't know what game two. I think they're at the same time, Sunday night. So
it's impossible.
I mean, it's not impossible, but it might be impossible to go to both.
The first couple of innings and then go to the NFL game, or do you go NFL game, go to like halftime, and then go to the playoff game?
So Sunday, the Red Sox are playing at 4:00 Pacific time, and the Chiefs Patriots will kick off at 5:30 Pacific time. So you can go to a couple innings and then go see the rest of the football game. But that's my best of the weekend.
That's all we have time for today. Tune us in on Monday. We'll react to who got the most picks right when we talk about Week 6 and the aftermath of a couple of games in the playoffs. And we will see you Monday.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.